In the last week, 3 North Texas teachers, they've been arrested for having sexual relations with students. 3 North Texas teachers. We told you about this just a few minutes ago in this newscast. Kennedale teacher Brittany Collop surrendered to police on Monday. She's accused of having sex with 5 male students from Kennedale High. And then today, former Irving MacArthur teacher, 26-year-old April Alexander, she was arrested for having sex with a 16-year-old student. And Christian Flores of Garland High, he was arrested for sexual contact with a female student. Now, there can be legal and emotional fallout from these improper teacher-student relationships. So we're going to continue that discussion now. Here to talk about it, relationship expert Nina Atwood and attorney Kevin Clancy. I thank you both for being here tonight. All right, Nina, let's start with you. We heard earlier from Brittany Collop's husband. We heard from him in this newscast, and he professed his love publicly for his wife. Are you surprised by this?
I'm not totally shocked, because usually in the first wave of something like this, there's so much shock and pain in the family, and it is a family, and the tendency is to try to pull together and be a tight unit,
right?
And then try to sort it out from that direction first. So I'm not entirely surprised that he would do that. He obviously loves his wife, he loves his family, and wants to try to do what he can to keep them in together.
But this is phase 1, and I guess his emotions could change as he goes through this, and the family gets through it. How do they get through it?
Well, you know, it's really tough to get through it, because over time his feelings are likely to change as it evolves and the whole thing unfolds. Then it would be perfectly normal for him to eventually feel very resentful toward her and have feelings of betrayal and anger on his own. And so then how would he work through those? Right. You know, eventually that marriage may not hold up.
Well, and of course, you know, we're still finding out the details of what this was all like. Kevin, I have to tell you, a lot of people on our Facebook page there doing the high fives, you know, this is great, 18-year-old boys with their teacher, and they're saying this shouldn't necessarily be a crime, is what a lot of people are saying about this.
Well, it is, and it's a crime for any teacher, no matter how old the student is, whether the student's 18 or 20 or 15, to have a sexual relationship. Because
of that relationship, that teacher-student relationship.
That's correct. And if it's a younger 17,
right,
then you've got a sexual assault combined with a you know, the improper.
Well, and let's talk about this, because when it's a sexual assault, then the person, if they're found guilty, has to register as a sex offender. Is that something that Brittany Collop would have to do if she's found
Not in this case right now. The legislature didn't include this offense in the registration.
Okay.
The only way she'd have to register if she went to trial and a jury gave her probation, because I don't think a Fort Worth judge would give her probation.
Right.
And I think the DA would recommend jail time. They could make a condition as a sex offender program that she have to register while she was on probation, and she could do up to 6 months in jail.
Well,
or she could go to the penitentiary.
Sure. But let's flip this, because I think, especially, you know, when we read a lot of that Facebook feedback, maybe people are looking at it differently, because it's 18-year-old boys and a female teacher, as opposed to, you know, a female student and a male teacher, because that people react differently to.
Absolutely, because you know, people don't think an 18-year-old boy's a victim when he's having sex with a teacher.
Right.
And he's bragging about it. And they have it on video, so they're passing it around and, you know, bragging about it. So it's hard to consider them a victim in that type of situation, but under the law, they are.
Well, and that is exactly how police are referring to the 18-year-olds right now, is as victims. Nina, how much does power come into this?
Well, there's a reason that we have those kinds of laws, because when you're talking about a student and a teacher, there's a power imbalance there. There's somebody who's an adult authority figure who has a lot of power over that child's life.
And we teach our kids respect the teachers.
We teach them respect for their teachers. The teacher, you know, the adults are supposed to be in charge, and what makes this case so difficult for everyone is that the adults have run amok, you know, and are doing things that you would expect out of a kid. But the reality is that there's a reason we have those laws, and it is to protect kids from being taken advantage of by a teacher.
Well, I tell you, at least one of the sets of parents of these teenage boys has said, we don't want to press charges. Kevin, you think that's a good idea, bad idea?
I don't think they have any choice. They're going to play the video.
Because they've got the video, that's
and they've got texts, and they've got cell phone messages.
So they don't need the boys.
They don't need the boys, really, to prove up their case. And, you know, she should probably plead guilty to a jury and have some psychological people testify as to why she may have done what she did and ask for mercy.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're going to keep following this, of course, and find out more about the dynamics and the family and how this all played out. So we appreciate both of you coming tonight.
Sure.
Kevin,
Glad to be here.
Anna, thank you very much.